Mr. President, I'm not sure what they're telling you about this problem, but this is a terrible problem that's playing out on the ground. One of his aides told me that, listen, this is like a goldstone. It'll pass. People often say, well, you don't sound like a Democrat, and, you seem to have left the party. No, the party left me, and it left working class people.
Yeah, Steve, Natasha. So when Mayor Eric Adams was running for mayor in 2021, he wrote on social media that he didn't need or want the support of Tucker Carlson, saying that Carlson is someone who perpetuates racist and anti-immigrant propaganda. But then yesterday, Adams sat down for an hour-long interview with Carlson and said that the Democratic Party abandoned the working class and said that the Biden administration told him to be silent about the migrant crisis. He told Carlson that former President Joe Biden told him and his aides that he wasn't being a, quote, good Democrat as hundreds of thousands of migrants made their way to New York City.
Biden said you ain't been no good house nigga. Said you ain't been no good house nigga, man.
And said that the Democratic Party abandoned the working class and said that the Biden administration told him to be silent about the migrant crisis. Now, Adams told Carlson that former President Joe Biden told him and his aides that he wasn't being a, quote, good Democrat as hundreds of thousands of migrants made their way to New York City. When he refused, Adams says that is when charges were handed down. Carlson only focused on the bribery charge in his interview, but Adams is facing 5 federal charges, including for allegedly soliciting illegal campaign donations. The federal investigation into Adams also started before Adams was elected mayor. Now, Adams has repeatedly insisted that he is innocent, and in the interview claimed that the Democratic Party didn't just abandon him.
Can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Ladies and gentlemen, look how many hands are raised. All Democrats, y'all. Look at Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, all of them, y'all. Look, they was all supporting that shit, y'all Democrats. And this was during the debate. This was during the debate when they were saying who was going to be the spokesperson for the Democrats. And as you can see, all them Democrats raised their hand, y'all. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, y'all know the rest of the guys on that immigration shit, on health insurance.
About these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. With you, Mayor Buttigieg, why?
We are a welcoming city, and we are a sanctuary city. That has not changed because of who won the election. Any of the measures that the president is looking to execute against working people in the city of Chicago, we will defend our city. It's just that simple.
I think he's looking to get the prize as the stupidest, most ineffective mayor in American history. He's there already. He's just going for extra credit. Look, at the end of the day, he has so many problems in this city. American citizens that live under terrible conditions. He should be advocating for them and not illegal criminals. But again, this guy's completely out of his mind. Hopefully the voters of Chicago get rid of him.
I wanted to ask you.
New mayor, Brandon Johnson. Chicago's new mayor, Brandon Johnson, welcomed the masses of illegal immigrants flooding the city while the residents protest the status as a sanctuary city. Chicago has been receiving migrants since August 2022, with thousands of illegals having been bused to the city by Governor Greg Abbott, Republican Texas. The breaking point was reached last week when now former Chicago Mayor Lightfoot had to declare a state of emergency due to the overwhelming number crossing right before the expiration of Title 42. Chicago residents have been upset with the decision, as many areas of the city already struggle with minimal resources and crime, likely to only be worsened by the migrants. Just recently, residents of Chicago's South Shore community screamed in protest against turning an abandoned school into a migrant housing facility. However, despite the overwhelmed Chicago residents, Johnson was more than happy to welcome the migrants, claiming that there was plenty of space and resources in the city for the illegals. Chicago has already had many problems taking care of their residents, and it would seem that they only wish to further worsen the problem.
In Philadelphia today. More migrant buses arriving in Philadelphia today. The city welcoming 3 more buses this morning.
Well, what's being done to help them and the organization doing the work? Jeff, you went to find out for yourself tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort underway. We're actually standing right outside this welcome center. We are meeting some of these migrants, very happy to be in this country, understandably. Meantime, more buses into this community and more debate about it. Just before 6 this morning, and the first of 3 buses filled with asylum seekers arrives at 30th Street Station. On board, some 125 passengers, part of the flow of nearly 500 migrants put on buses from Texas border towns and moved to East Coast cities willing to offer sanctuary.
Are you happy?
Dice que se está feliz. Sí, oh.
Yeah. Very, very happy. Okay, thanks so much.
12 buses have now lumbered into Philadelphia from Texas since the governor started filling them. The asylum seekers are from Ecuador, Colombia, Nicaragua, and even Cuba. Catherine Miller Wilson leads Highest PA, offering legal and other services to refugees and asylum seekers.
These are people, they've traveled on foot through many, many countries. They've fled torture and persecution, and then to arrive, be given the stamp to be permitted to come into this country, and then to be thrown onto a bus unceremoniously is outrageous.
The asylum seekers were handed blankets and placed on SEPTA buses for a ride to the city's welcome center in Juniata. Miller Wilson argues the challenge of illegal immigration could be eased if asylum seekers were allowed to work while their asylum claims are processed.
If you're not allowed to work, you're dependent, and that's the issue. And this could be solved so simply. Just allow them to work.
Philadelphia is paying for the care of the asylum seekers with city funds, help from community groups, and donations from residents. The city plans to seek grant funding. Many arriving here quickly leave to find family living outside the region. This man fled Cuba, is on his way to Rochester, New York, and is joyous to be here.
He said that he's very, very good for the travel, and he's very happy because he's in the United States of America, because the government in Cuba is a serious problem in this moment.
Again, asylum seekers coming out of this welcoming center behind us, very thankful, thanking us, patting us on the shoulders as if we had something to do with all this. The city has set up what it calls a welcoming fund for residents to donate to if they want to help out in this effort. Live in Juniata.
Texas arrived in Philadelphia. Another busload of illegal immigrants from Texas arrived in Philadelphia this morning. It is the 3rd bus that Texas has sent to the city in the last week. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has sent a number of these buses filled with migrants to Democratic-run cities across the country, including New York, Washington, and Chicago. And he says he will continue to do so until the Biden administration tightens border security to prevent migrants from pouring into his state.
I'll say E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
Did y'all pay attention? I told you the Most High gave you 2 ears and a lip. Sometimes you gotta zip the lip up and listen. She spelled eagles wrong, y'all. Listen.
E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles!
What did Bill Clinton have to say about those illegal migrants? Let's hear what he had to say.
Not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly, all Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Let's listen to Joe Biden in '93 about immigration. Let's see what he got to say.
Relating to the matter to which you spoke last, and that is the hiring of undocumented workers by you and your husband. When we first met on January the 5th, following your being named by President-elect Clinton to be Attorney General, you volunteered this fact to me. You volunteered the circumstances under which this hiring took place, and you volunteered that what did take place was a violation of the United States immigration law. I've spoken to you at length about this matter, and you've been interviewed by the FBI and by the committee investigative staff under oath. And this matter is, as you know, a serious one in my view. The committee and the public, as we've discussed, has to be assured that you are, without exception, going to be willing to enforce the law. And the immigration law falls under your responsibility. It happens on your watch as Attorney General. And I believe it's important you have an opportunity to explain in even greater detail than you have in your opening statement the various circumstances surrounding this hiring. Now, let me begin my question, if I may, on this matter, and then when my second round is up, we'll get back to those matters that have not been touched upon, and I expect everything will have been related to the substantive operation of the department. When did you first hire the unauthorized workers?
All agree on the need to better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country. By the way, for the most part, this is not a situation where these children are slipping through. They're being apprehended. But the problem is that our system is so broken, so unclear, that folks don't know what the rules are.
And yet all they can see is color. Obama, he actually led the charge on getting illegals out of the country. He was right out in front of this. And by the way, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, they all said the same thing. But it's funny how it changes when it's Trump, right? Look, I played this for you guys. I'm going to play it again. Here we go.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only...
Oopsie, I didn't want to come off.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century. And to those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better, or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have one answer. Pass a bill